All right, regulators. By now, I hope you've seen episode 2 because today I want to kind of wrap up what we experienced through episode 2 and some of the comments that I've gotten from the regulators on Instagram about what they think of when they hear the phrase show up for yourself. So, in this episode, Nakia and I kind of reflect on who we were in 2021 and what showing up for ourselves looked like in 2021 versus what it looks like today. And a lot of that episode, you're going to hear evolution of confidence. I think that was the biggest takeaway from me looking at the episode was that you could tell that we're more confident in who we are as people, as women. We're more confident in the abilities that we have. We're more confident in our purpose and what we're supposed to be doing here on earth. And for that, we are extremely grateful. I'm speaking for Nakia because I know Nakia, but we are extremely grateful. So on Instagram, I asked some of the regulators, what do they feel when they hear that phrase? And a lot of my friends said showing up for themselves looks like them going to the gym. A lot of them says reading books and learning. A lot of them said things like the gym. I'm being funny because I was just joking and saying that my proximity and my group of people have changed so much that I got that response so many times because they're either my gym friends or my friends and we're all on the same journey right now. So I heard a lot of the gym. So here I am being a life coach and I'm saying to myself, the gym is cool. It's one of the biggest humps I had to get over in my own personal development, and going to the gym is such a journey of toughness. You are putting your body, for me, I was never an athlete. I am in the gym putting my body through some of the most rigorous routines, and it has never experienced that before. And after a year of consistency, I can say that showing up every day and doing what I needed to do, despite how much it hurt, despite how much confusion was there because I couldn't quite understand. Still to this day, I don't understand why I keep showing up. I just keep showing up. And with that, I have built up so much faith. We talked about faith in the last episode of this wrap up because we were talking about trust in the process and that faith being strengthened. Now that I'm thinking about it, was a part of me showing up for myself and going to the gym, because there is no way that I would keep going to that gym, showing up and almost killing myself with no sight of the future. Like, I don't know when there is an end. There is no end. When you go into a process like this with the mindset of making a lifestyle change, there is no end. You don't know what your body is going to do for real. You don't know how it's going to recomp. You don't know if you're going to be doing it right or wrong, when you're going to get it right or wrong. Like, it's so many unknowns in this physical fitness process that I have translated all of my lessons that I learned from the gym in every other area of my life. But what I will say is no one said anything like setting boundaries. And I think that's one of the ways I showed up for myself so much in the last 5 years. I have separated myself from so many things because I needed to set boundaries in order to clear space for opportunity for me to be different. I had to set the boundaries, but not only did I set the boundaries, I had to uphold those boundaries. And when you get into that space after upholding, you have to have consequences for when those boundaries are not upheld. So you got like 3 levels of showing up for yourself here. That first level, when we talk about boundaries, is, hey, I got to set boundaries here because this isn't feeling good. It doesn't feel good. I feel drained in this situation. I don't feel recharged. I feel like you're just attached to me. So I have to set boundaries. That's that first level of showing up for yourself. That next level of showing up for yourself, when we speak specifically about boundaries, is upholding those boundaries. When someone cross those boundaries or not respecting those boundaries, what do? Do you fold and not uphold your own boundaries and just fall back into your old pattern? Or do you uphold those boundaries and you tell those people, hey, you remember when I said this before? I told you that this was a boundary that I was setting, and here are the consequences. That's level 3. Here are the consequences for what happens when you don't respect my boundaries. So showing up for yourself comes in so many different forms and so many different levels. And I didn't hear anybody say anything about boundaries. I didn't hear anyone say anything about hobbies, fun things to do. When you are like showing up for yourself, giving yourself fulfillment, making sure that you're providing yourself with these small pockets of moments that make you feel good. Because again, we go through so many ebbs and flows in life, and sometimes we don't stop. You know how they say stop to smell the roses? That's a literal thing. We don't stop to smell the roses, and we just keep going. And as a life coach, one of the biggest things that I like to do, or it's almost mandatory for my clients to do, is find space for celebration. You have to celebrate. If you don't celebrate, it's just the ongoing continuum of work, 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 work. I am here in this space to make sure that you pause sometimes, that you find space where you're finding fulfillment, and you're also finding space where you're congratulating yourself for the work that you're doing. Someone needs to make sure they're saying, hey, you're doing a good job. And we all don't have that in our circle. So as a life coach, I like to teach my clients how to celebrate themselves, because you need to. That's one of the other ways that you show up for yourself. You celebrate every moment, every time you've gotten over a hump. And it doesn't have to be a big hump. It could be a very small hump. If you struggle to go to the gym, we're going to use the gym as an example since everybody showed up for themselves at the gym. If you struggle to go to the gym those 3 times a week that you set for yourself, and this Monday through Friday, you only went twice, it's okay. Showing up for yourself looks like you next week going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday straight through, so that you make sure you hit those 3 days, and maybe even possibly you might get a 4th or a 5th day out of this process, because you're showing up for yourself and you're celebrating that. By Friday, you're like, wait a minute, I went all 3 times. I don't have to be mad at myself. I get to celebrate. I ain't saying go dog a whole pitcher of beer. You know what I'm saying? But find time to celebrate the fact that you actually went. Go to a rehab and go get an ice bath. Go get a massage. Go do something to thank your body for getting you through these processes. So I just want to encourage us a little bit to think a little bit past the physical when we talk about showing up for ourselves. We want to talk about our emotional health and our mental health as well. And that does not come up very often, the very first thing that people think about when they talk about showing up for themselves. So I want to encourage us to dig deeper and make sure we're not leaving out any parts of our lives. We want to make sure we hit the physical, mental, and emotional all the time so that we can be whole. And showing up for yourself just makes you feel good. Like I know you see me processing that thought, because I really feel grateful. I really feel joy in the fact that I have done so well for myself in the last year of just showing up for myself and standing on business. Like, people say that all the time, but I don't know how often y'all actually standing on what y'all say. And I come in contact with people quite often, and I have very transparent and vulnerable conversations with people often. And a lot of times we say one thing, but we do something else. And you know what that does? It creates resentment. We resent ourselves before someone else can resent us. We have a lot of conversations with ourselves that reflect how we feel about letting ourselves down. And then in return, we go out in the world and we give other people that energy. We don't let them make mistakes. We struggle to give them grace because we don't give ourselves grace. So just let's think about showing up for ourselves in different ways. In the comments below, let me know how you've shown up for yourself in the past year, and let me know things that you want to implement to show up for yourself better moving forward. Can't wait to talk to you guys again. Bye.